Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Art's Place. Welcome to another great show. We got a lot to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the usual suspects that are complaining about how the new state party chair was chosen. Yes, these are the same whiners that are part of the Dudley Brown RMGO minions that are still ticked off because their guy or gal didn't get chosen. So we'll talk about that, but let's see what's going on. We just getting the show going and no watchers, which is okay. Beautiful sunny day here in Westminster, Colorado. So let's hit the ground running, shall we? So last week we've chosen a new state party chairman. Ken Buck is the new chairman of the GOP here in Colorado. And he has hired Steve House as the CEO to run the organization. And there are a lot of people really squawking and complaining about that because they complain about, well, he failed when he was chairman. I'm like, oh, you know what? Not as bad as Jeff Hayes did. You know, when Steve House was the chairman, we won re-election for state secretary, state treasurer, and all the other important statewide races, attorney general, and county commissioners on down. The only place where he failed was at taking back the state house. We still control the state senate under Steve House. So he wasn't quite as bad as everybody made him out. The people that are pissed off about Steve House were the Dudley Brown minions who they just don't play well with others. And this is just my opinion. And Dudley Brown really doesn't care if the Democrats control everything in the state. You know why? Because it helps him to raise money for his phony Second Amendment outfit that I call Rocky Mountain Gun Owners and North American Gun Rights, or whatever it's called, NAGR it's called. And he's a charlatan. He really doesn't care about the Second Amendment or who controls the state legislature or the governorship. Because when the Democrats are in control, he makes more money for his phony organizations. And nobody ever considers, well, how much of a cut does Dudley Brown take from these donations? I mean, he's the director of, these organizations. And is he being paid to run these businesses? I'm sure he is. So I would like to find out what is his cut and what are his expenses. Do we really know where the money is going? All we know that he only spends a handful of money on certain candidates. He doesn't spread it out to all the other Republican candidates running for office. He only gives money to certain individuals. And, frankly, he's not a team player. And he and his organization have been around for a little over 20 years. And he's been a major thorn in the side of the state GOP. And what Dudley Brown does is he finds these whacked out marginal candidates to run for office. And the ones that do win, they win in solid Republican districts. And he's got a stranglehold on some of those districts, and only his candidates get elected to those. Also, what he does is he strong arms county party leaders to get his people elected in the primaries for state house, state senate, and what have you, in competitive races. And what ends up happening there, libertarians will run a candidate knowing full well that they'll split the ticket and hand the race over to the Democrats. And this is the thing that just boggles the mind of these libertarians. They always say, no, we don't do that. We split down the middle. I'm like, oh, really? You really think a blue-blooded Democrat is ever going to vote for a libertarian? You are delusional. That's just not how it works. If you look at the Libertarian Party, they're sort of all over the place, but they're mainly right of center. And they are, on most issues, they are further to the right than Republicans. They want a very tiny government and way more freedoms. But the thing that hurts the Libertarian Party is they're all about open borders. They think it's good for the free market to have open borders. And they're also, I've heard them say they don't, but they are pro-abortion as well, because they think that government shouldn't be allowed into it, and they don't care if a woman decides to kill their own baby. They say, hey, it's none of our business, And they're pro-drugs. They wouldn't mind if we end up like Amsterdam, where we have opium dens and marijuana shops. I wouldn't be surprised if they are somehow involved in the open injection sites that they were trying to get passed in Denver, because they think, hey, why should the government stop individuals from shooting up? Maybe we should give them a safe place so they don't overdose, which is crazy. And there are just so many really bad things about the Libertarian Party. I mean, I agree with about 70-80% of what they stand for, but there are just so many other things that I just can't stomach. There's so much about freedom to where, they don't care where there should be a stop sign, a place to say, hey, no, you can't do that because that infringes on other people's liberties as well. And they don't see that. And that's where I have my problems with. So other things we'll talk about is that creepy Joe Biden. He wants to run for president, and he says he's apologized, but it's a typical Democrat non-apology apology. The guy is creepy, and there are more and more women coming out saying how he sexually assaulted or harassed these women. So I think his chances of being nominated are greatly diminished. Another one is former governor of Colorado, John Hickenlooper. He's been falling on his face time and time again, especially when he was being interviewed, and the question was, do you consider yourself a capitalist? And he just would not answer that question. He would just say, well, I don't like labels. And wait a minute, it's the Democrats that always say they don't like labels, yet they're the ones that are always labeling people that they don't like. So that really confuses me. It's like, wait a minute, you don't like labels, yet you label people you disagree with as sexists, bigoted, homophobes, and all that. And there are other candidates out there that are running it. It's just like a circus that's going on out there with these people that are trying to see who could be further to the left. Yeah. Although I did see a couple candidates that are running, and they're trying to say, no, we're moderate and blah, blah, blah. And the problem with that is they're not going to win the primary because the party is controlled by socialists and Marxists, and they're not going to nominate someone like that. So that's what's going on. And now here in Denver, they have an initiative on the ballot this year called, what is it? Right to Survive. And basically what this whole thing is about is, if you want to, you could, pitch a tent anywhere in the city and nobody could touch you. Nobody could tell you, hey, you can't camp there. You could go on somebody's lawn and camp out there. Police will have nothing to do with that. So our parks and our cemeteries are going to be havens for these homeless people. And the Democrats claim they are compassionate, but every time they enact their so-called compassion, we get more of the bad stuff. I've been back in Colorado since 1981, and I remember, I would see a homeless person here and there, but now it's like I see them at every off-ramp on the freeway, at stoplights, at major interchanges, especially downtown Denver. And it just boggles my mind. And the reason that happened is we allowed this to happen. We're giving them the incentive to just live on the street and rather be productive citizens, hold down a job, and take care of their own basic needs. No, they rather, live on the streets and live off the government freebies. So that's what's going on. So let's check back. We got one watcher, which is probably the YouTube person watching anyway. So let's go to Facebook, and nobody is. So that's what's going on. Someone on Facebook was complaining about, how are we going to fix this party? When can we get back to winning elections? And I made the comment, hey, you guys broke it, you fix it. I got involved 10 years ago, and I'm getting to a point where I throw up my hands and I'm saying, what more can I do? I mean, we got two sides in the same party that just will not work with each other. And I'm just tired of it. I'm getting to the point where, I'm going to be retiring in a few years. And I don't know if I'll be staying in Colorado. I love the state. It's a beautiful state. But, the powers that be they're screwing it up, and I'm worried that the state is going to be just like California, where the Democrats have solid control over the state government, and we will have nothing to do to try to fix this, because there won't be enough of us to run for office, because the Democrats have successfully made running for office a very toxic environment where people they don't want to deal with the baloney. Why should I run for office if it means that my business and my family could be hassled? You don't see people on our side of the aisle going to businesses and homes of liberals and making a big scene there, asking for boycotts of their products or harassing them in restaurants and public places like the Democrats do. I mean, this country is slowly dissolving into a fascist state. Just yesterday, someone posted a meme about AOC, who said United States is no different than Nazi Germany. And you know what? She's right. And it's not the Republican Party. It is her own party that's doing that. We're not going out there harassing people who we don't agree with. We don't go to the homes of liberal Democrat office holders. We don't go to their homes and harass, or to their business and harass. We don't harass liberal students on campus like they do, like liberal students do now. Whenever there's a conservative speaker that comes on that's been invited to speak on campus, these liberal numbskull kids get all in a hissy fit and demand that that person should not be allowed to speak. Now, it used to be the ACLU was all big about letting the Nazi and neo-Nazis to march and speak, but now they're silent when it comes to conservative speakers. So that's what's going on. And it's not just here in the United States. I'm seeing it going on in Europe and other places around the world. Where I don't see it as much is in Asia, like in the Philippines. Yeah, they've got their problems there as well with their political systems. People have been assassinated. People have had their businesses destroyed. But, you know, all in all, the Filipino people are really the nicest laid-back people. And it's only the fringe groups that are causing the problems, like these radical Muslims that like to sneak into Catholic churches and blow themselves up and killing as many Catholics as they can. So, but that doesn't happen very often. One of the things that I want to do in the future on this show, I'm trying to talk this gentleman. His name is Lloyd Mendenhall. He's known as the Grumpy Vlogger on YouTube, and he's got a new channel called Grumpy's Gripes, and I'm going to try and see if I could get him to come on this show and maybe give us a little snippet about his Grumpy's Gripes. So I think that would be entertaining and informative. And we'll see how long this channel lasts when I get him on there. So that'll be interesting to do that. So we've got mayoral races coming up soon. We don't have any conservatives running for mayor of Denver. We've got several people running for mayor of Aurora. Two of them that I've known for a long time, and I think they'd both be very good mayors. Mike Kaufman, the former congressman from Aurora, I think he would be an excellent mayor. Ryan Frazier would be good. He's a former city councilman, but he's lost like 3 races, and I think his future in Aurora is pretty much done. I think he ought to step back and just become an activist for the Republican Party in Arapahoe and Adams County. Alrighty, so no comments yet. And this, but I'll still continue to do Art's Place, and I'm hoping that down the road that we could build this channel into a better channel. Okay, so getting back to people complaining about our new chair. They're all complaining about this process called proxy ballots. And the first time I heard of this was back when I first got into politics. And the way it works is if a person is a bonus member to the assembly, so to speak, they can't make it, but they want to vote for their candidate. And there's maybe there were 3 people running for state chair. There was Ken Buck, Susan Beckman, and Sherry Gibson. And so people will select somebody who is going to be there and say, hey, here is my ballot. This is who I choose for to be our new chair. And these people are all complaining. They want to see who these people are that cast their proxy ballots. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Aren't elections supposed to be in secret, that nobody knows who voted for who? I mean, it all goes against freedom of elections, you know? Because what will end up happening is if they divulge who the people are that cast their proxy votes, is then people will harass those people. And then less and less people will want to be involved in politics. Now, the 2 major parties are so different in the way they operate, where the Democrat Party, they are like a collective. It's almost like a workers in a beehive. They all work together. Where the Republican Party, you're dealing with people that are all independent contractors, so to speak. So to get those people in line is almost like herding cats. And it's a lot of work. So, and that gets frustrating after a while. We gotta get together and we gotta, put aside our differences and say, hey, let's try to work together and win some elections, And I think what needs to happen is each side should, concede to each other, work with each other and say, all right, you want this, we'll give you some of that. And this side says, well, we want this, and that's what, there's going to have to be compromise among the different factions. But I don't see that's just going to be a very tough nut to crack. And it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really tough. I have no, I've been in this for, these years, and I'm like going, I just don't see anything changing. And the same people are going to be arguing, and they don't want to work together because each side thinks that they're right and the other guy is wrong. Myself, I managed to piss off both sides of the party. You all know that I don't like this wing that's supposedly run by Dudley Brown's minions. And the other people that I pissed off are supporters of our current Republican senator. And what drives me nuts is I like Cory Gardner. I think he's doing a great job and all. But he says some of the dumbest things that are going to end up costing him his seat. It's like, why rock the boat? Just sit back, do your job, just keep your head low, and you'll be fine. The more exposure he gets, he's going to end up pissing off people, the base in the Republican Party, and he's not going to get any more votes from the unaffiliates because they've already decided, they've broken hard to the left. So stop trying to be an anti, a never Trumper. Be a team player. That's all I'm asking for. Don't be like John McCain and do all this stupid crap by saying, well, we got to work with the people on the other side of the aisle. Well, why are we doing that when those people hate your guts? They hate what you stand for, and they will give you, what you might think is a big concession really isn't a concession. For example, the McCain-Feingold, financial records rule. Who did that benefit? It didn't benefit us. It gave the Democrats more flexibility in raising money. All it did was it changed the rules around and the Democrats, when they agreed to do this thing, they already have an end around figured out in this deal. So that's like when they had this initiative on the ballot this last election cycle to form a committee to draw up new districts because we're going to get a new congressman. We're going to get another congressional seat here in Colorado because the state has grown so fast. And also with that, the state House members and the state Senate districts, they're all changing. So they're going to have to draw up new maps or reapportion those districts. So they worked on a compromise with the Republicans. And I'm like going, you know what? It's not really a compromise because they've already figured an end around it. It's like, why are we even working with these people? These people are nothing but a bunch of crooks. And we gotta stop, working with them. When we're the majority, we should get our stuff through. Don't go around and try to give a little something to the Democrats. They're not going to respect you when they're back in power. They're not going to say, hey, remember so-and-so, let's throw them a bone. That's not going to happen. There's a state senator here that I definitely do not agree with, and that's Kevin Priola. And I've known him for 10 years, back when he ran for State House. And he's become nothing but a real squishy Republican, working with Democrats. I mean, he worked with the Democrats on this safe injection site. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And he said, well, my Catholic upbringing says we should do this. Really, I have a lot of Catholic friends, and they don't see anything good in offering safe injection sites. And he's always pandering to the left. I'm like, oh, Kevin, these people, they hate you. They laugh behind your back whenever you work with them on legislation or put your name as a supporter of a bill. I'm like, it just boggles my mind why this guy does this. And it just drives me crazy when same thing with Mitt Romney. Now that he's won a solid Republican state like Utah, and he's just another clone of John McCain. John McCain was, he started off being a pretty conservative Republican, but over time he just started moving further and further to the left, and he just he liked to buck the establishment, and it just boggles my mind, and I'm just embarrassed that I voted for him for president. And, when he passed away, they didn't even invite his vice presidential running mate, Sarah Palin, to his funeral. They were uninvited. And same with the President of the United States. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And these people are a bunch of numbskulls. Okay, let's see. Well, everything looks good here. I've got good lighting. How does everybody like my new logo? I think it looks pretty cool. Got a lot of help from a friend of mine from Tennessee, Mel. So there's not much going on. So we're going to call this a short show today. So I just want to thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And it's a nice, lovely spring day. I went up in the mountains to fly my drone out, and I got some great footage. So I will post that on my other page. So you guys have a great Sunday and a great rest of the week. Catch you all next week on Art's Place. Goodbye. God bless you. God bless the state of Colorado and the United States of America. See ya.